Standing your ground in Clearwater, Florida. Clearwater, Florida is normally a quiet community that does not appear in the pages of national newspapers or on the nightly news broadcasts. Ordinarily, Clearwater's fame centers on its laid-back lifestyle, pristine beaches, and a reputation for being a destination for vacationers and snowbirds seeking warmth in the winter and a place to frolic when the kids are out of school. That sense of the normal and the ordinary was shattered on Thursday, July 19th of this year, when an altercation over a parking spot at a local convenience store escalated into the shooting death of Marcus McLaughlin, a black Clearwater resident. McLaughlin was shot by Michael Draka, a white resident of Clearwater. McLaughlin died at the scene of a single gunshot wound to his chest. That single altercation and one round from a gun shattered the calm of Clearwater and its surrounding environs. That single incident splashed Clearwater, Florida across the front pages of newspapers worldwide. The Stand Your Ground Law. In 2005, Florida was the first state in the Union to enact a Stand Your Ground law. Under the law, a person can use lethal force with no legally imposed duty to retreat if they believe they are placed in danger by another individual. Specifically, the law states, and I quote, "A person is justified in the use of deadly force and does not have a duty to retreat if he or she reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself." End of quote. In 2012, the Stand Your Ground law was used successfully by accused murderer George Zimmerman, a neighborhood watch official who shot and killed teenager Trayvon Martin in Central Florida. A jury acquitted Zimmerman of second-degree murder based on the law. In the McLaughlin shooting death, the alleged perpetrator, Michael Draka, immediately staked his justification for the shooting on the Stand Your Ground law. Draka was not arrested at the scene of the shooting. After a short investigation, Draka was allowed to go free by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. On the date of the incident, Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri told news media that, quote, "based on the Stand Your Ground law, the shooting was justified," end quote. According to other sources at the Sheriff's Department, that was the early assessment of others besides the sheriff. Draka was justified in taking the action to prevent death or injury to himself. A community reacts, protests, and vigils. In the days following the shooting, community leaders and activists organized a protest at the site of the altercation and shooting, as well as a vigil at Clearwater's Mount Carmel Baptist Church that was attended by more than 150 people. The vigil and protest at the Baptist Church, organized by the Clearwater Upper Pinellas County branch of the NAACP, was one of many such events that took place in the aftermath of the shooting. Pastor Carlton Childs, the president of the Upper Pinellas County Ministerial Alliance, spoke forcefully to the gathered crowd. I quote, "It was wrong of Mr. Draka to shoot and kill Marcus. It was wrong for him to antagonize Brittany, the girlfriend of the victim and the object of the shooter's initial wrath. It was definitely wrong for Mr. Draka not to be arrested. We refuse to remain quiet while laws are being made and constructed to permit shooting and killing of human beings." End of quote. The gathering at the Baptist Church also took strong exception with Sheriff Gualtieri's decision not to arrest Draka and allowing the shooter to assert, seemingly successful from the beginning, the controversial Stand Your Ground law. Regarding Draka's assertion of protection by the law in question, The sheriff did refer the matter on the day following the vigil to the Pinellas Pasco State Attorney's Office for further review and final determination. Officials have a change of mind. During the initial investigation into the shooting, Drake had told detectives that he was, quote, in fear for his life, end quote, after McLaughlin allegedly pushed him to the ground during their confrontation. At the time, Sheriff Gualtieri stated, quote, Drake believed that McLaughlin was going to come back at him, and he fired in a very short amount of time. 4 seconds, probably, somewhere in that range. That is within the bookends of stand your ground and within the bookends of force being justified, end quote. Protesters and McLaughlin's family members were having none of that and said so forcefully in the media and through several days of protests following the shooting. The shooting, which was captured on surveillance video, soon became the focus of local and national media interest and protests. As interest and outrage continued to grow, the Reverend Al Sharpton, head of the National Action Network and a lifelong civil rights activist, showed up in Clearwater for a protest rally centering on the repeal of the Stand Your Ground law. The sheriff responded to Sharpton's criticisms of the law and the department's embrace of it by telling Sharpton, "Go home." 3 weeks after the controversial Stand Your Ground shooting in Clearwater, the Pinellas Pasco State's attorney had a change of heart and a change of mind. On Monday, August 13, charges of manslaughter were formally filed against Michael Drake. On that same day, Drake was arrested and booked into jail for the killing of Marquez McLaughlin. Bond on the charges was set at $100,000. As of this writing, August 22nd, Drake has not posted bail and remains in custody in Pinellas County. An attorney for McLaughlin's family issued the following statement upon hearing the news of the filed charges and the arrest of Drake. Quote, "My first thought on hearing the news was, it's about time. This self-appointed wannabe cop attempted to hide behind Stand Your Ground to defend his indefensible actions, but the truth has finally cut through the noise. I have full faith that this truth will prevail to punish this cold-blooded killer. We will continue to fight until justice is brought for the family of Marquez." End of quote. McLaughlin's family also released a statement saying, quote, "The charges provide our family with a small measure of comfort during our time of mourning the death of Marquez," end quote. Additionally, Sheriff Gualtieri issued a short statement after the filing of charges and the arrest of Michael Drake. Quote, "I support the state's attorney's decision and I will have no further comment as the case continues to work its way through the criminal justice system," end quote. With the case now pending for further investigation and an eventual trial for Drake on the filed manslaughter charge, Pinellas Pasco State's Attorney Bernie McCabe told the press on August 13th, quote, "My office reviewed everything and we filed the charge we think we can prove. I'm comfortable that we moved expeditiously to review the case," end quote. Unless Drake decides to plead guilty to the manslaughter charge or some lesser charge, the case is expected to be ready to proceed to trial shortly after the first of next year. Meanwhile, the controversy surrounding Florida's Stand Your Ground law is likely to continue and grow as protest groups on both sides of the issue continue to speak out, march, and hold rallies for and against the law. Stay tuned.